Morning quickies before work are one of the greatest things.
It was like
You
10:30
really
in the
do.
morning.
You really do have a spring in your step. Like I swear,
Yo,
you really
I
do,
was
man.
so
100%,
focused after,
100%.
bro. Yo, I was sitting here like Rain Man. I was going through numbers and everything. I was just like, yo,
Yeah,
all right, so here's what we're gonna do here.
Bro,
Like, this is gonna do this. I went through our whole monthly budget.
We had to, for work, we would put like a timer to make sure, you know, like, by the way, that's when you realize how crazy like sex length is. Like sometimes she'd be like, oh, I'll put a 10-minute timer, and like an hour in, I'd be like, is it still not 10 minutes? other times I'd be like, all right, what do you mean 10 minutes? It's been like 5 seconds.
Nah, for real. Time moves different, right?
Oh man, time moves differently when you're having sex. I swear to
definitely
God. Welcome everyone to Need I Say More, episode 37. I am one of your hosts, Giuseppe, joined by my co-host with the most, Terrance.
Yes, sir.
Terrance, how you feeling, man? We had some stuff off air, or maybe it's gonna be on air one day. We don't really know, but we just had a big old talk, huh?
Yeah.
Energy's high though.
The energy's definitely high. We kind of had like a little pre-workout, I guess, to the episode. So I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good. It's another late night episode. So
It's the latest we've ever done the show.
It's the latest we ever done the show.
Need I Say More after dark?
Yeah, there's a little trend happening. Our last late episode is like one of our highest.
Yeah, we have. I guess we should welcome all the new listeners. We got a bit of an influx lately. A lot of people listening in. I should check the emails actually because I haven't done that. Yeah, welcome. Terrance, what do we do on the show? We basically come on here. We talk about such silly topics as why are they called peanut butter cups? They're not cups. To serious things like why do cops keep killing black people? So really run the gamut of what we're talking about in terms of topics. But
I always like to tell people, you know, when I hit them up to be a guest on the show, and they're like, "Oh, what is the show about?" And I always tell people, "Look, we are here to entertain and educate at the same time. That's what we do. You know, we're not geniuses or at any sort. I don't believe you're a genius. I think you're smart. I don't think you're.
No, I'm not a genius. I'm a fucking idiot.
But we're here to entertain
and
educate. You know, so we're learning as we do the show as well, and hopefully other people are learning along with us, and maybe you find it entertaining. Look, I laugh at my ignorance sometimes, so hopefully someone else can laugh at it too.
Yeah, I mean that's what people are gonna do. I was just thinking about how I can't believe we're like 3 months away from 2022. Yeah, and it feels like we never left March 2020. You know, like every year you get to the end of the year, you're like, wow, the year's almost over. But something about the pandemic has made everything feel like it's just temporary, and so it feels like we're gonna somehow go back in time once everything's done. But it's not.
I'm looking for a DeLorean already. You know,
dude,
just so I can go back.
See, the problem
I don't remember anything.
See, if me and you got the DeLorean, right? And we were gonna go back in time, it'd be like a trilogy, because the first one would be figuring out how COVID started. That'd be the first back in time mission.
One of my favorite movies series franchises.
And then we'd have to go back a second time once we found out how COVID started and then prevent it. You know, because we don't even know where to go. We can't go. There's no clock tower to go to. We have to. It's the one trip to go back to like December 2019 or a few months earlier, find out when it happened, and then go back and stop it. And then we have to avoid ourselves in the second trip, of course.
Got it.
By the way, do you know why those movies have never been remade?
Because you can't remake classics.
They do that all the time. What are you talking about? Every movie.
I know. They do it, but you can't. It's like
right. But what I'm saying is why they haven't tried. I mean, Judge Dredd and everything's been remade. So do you know why this one hasn't been?
No. Why haven't they touched it?
So apparently, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Zemeckis directed, wrote, and produced it, and Bob Gale produced and wrote it. Somehow they own the rights to that film. I don't know what happened, but instead of a studio, I don't know. I could not tell you how this happened. They own the rights.
Beautiful.
I don't know how they pulled that off, but they own the rights, and so
I love hearing.
They've said like they're never gonna remake it. They're like, we don't have a problem with like they made like a video game thing, and like we don't have a problem with that type of stuff. Like we're not gonna remake it. The movie stands as it is.
Creators owning the things they create makes me happy.
It's rare. I don't know how they did that back in 1985. Like I don't know what. I couldn't tell you.
You know what it was? The studio probably didn't believe that it was going to be,
well, that kind of what it was, because Robert Zemeckis had made a couple of films that all bombed, and if he had one more bomb, he was basically saying like they were not going to give me any more opportunities. And he made a movie called Romancing the Stone. I think it was in '84, and that was like a hit. And so they were like, all right, we'll give you for your next film. And Spielberg got behind it, and they did Back to the Future. But it's possible, yeah, they were just like, it's probably not going to do that well. So I guess you can own it.
Hey Joe, really quick before we move on, I got to thank you to all our new listeners, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here listening, again, welcome again. But I got a little theory here.
Okay, I love theories. Not a conspiracy theory.
Must love toxic stuff, because our last episode was just toxic. I went back and listened to it.
The episode was toxic. We talked about toxic things.
The topic. Sorry, the topic. The main topic
what was the name toxic, of that episode? Terrance?
Okay, all right. That was a friendship over. You motherfuckers must just love toxic, because you went and flooded
our new listeners.
You went and flooded that one. It was like, I know what you're thinking. You thought me and Joe was ending it. You thought this was a last day. You thought 36 was it. Terrance, 36
I need to point out a few things. One, please do not berate our new listeners the first episode. They're gonna leave immediately. You've scared them off. I will say,
over.
It was funny. We talked about what we call the episode, and this wasn't one of the options. I came up with this later on. I just popped in my head. But I say in the descriptions what happens. At no point do I say that.
I know.
That's the thing. Like I want it to be very clear. The episode titles might be kind of catching or whatever, but in the description, it's not like it's clickbait. Like it says, I don't say, did Terrance and Giuseppe stop talking? Find out this week. Like it says, like, I know we talk about this stuff. Like
no, in the description you went over it. What was going on or whatever, and I just feel like people love a little bit of that drama. We don't often give that. That was the last episode was a piece that is not common on this show.
It was a very honest piece for you.
It was an honest piece for me, and we always speak about this show being kind of therapeutic. So It felt like something that I needed to kind of get out and speak about, especially on the show, because other people might be experiencing it as well. So
Terrance, what's interesting is I totally lost my thoughts. Well, there's that. I don't know. I had an actual thought. It vanished as soon as I was.
What was interesting?
I'll never know.
I never heard nobody pause like that. This is interesting.
That's how we keep our listeners on their toes, Terrance. They'll never know.
There's so many people that literally just scooted in. You know how you do that scoot in, trying to anticipate? You're like, this is about to be good.
They're on the train right now.
It's about to be good. If you heard some dead air, I swear to you, it wasn't a technical glitch or anything like that. Joe literally just shut down for like 2 seconds out of nowhere.
I would normally edit that out, but I think it's too funny. I'm gonna leave it all in.
Just shut down out of nowhere.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Anyway, Terrance, before this show gets off the rails, let's do our patented Black Excellence shout out of the week.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than
yeah. Our Black Excellence Can't Stop, Won't Stop shout out of the week goes out to Miss Valerie Daniels Carter. Now, as I continue my search for people behind the scenes, the people behind the scenes is just super dope. Miss Valerie Daniels is a part owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, right?
Nice.
Not only is she one of the few women owners of a franchise, she is the first Black woman to have a championship, to be part of a championship franchise.
Really? Wow.
Yes. I thought this was super dope. When I found this out, so I was like, you know what, I got to pull something up on her. I got to see what's going on. You know how she started her empire? She started with fast food franchises, specifically Burger King.
Man, you could make it if it's a lot to, you have to put in usually like $500,000 or for a lot of these franchises. But if you can get like a loan to do that, they're fairly safe ventures because anyone can do it. And like Burger King will send you, for instance, everything you need to be successful. Like
and Miss Valerie and Valerie Daniels Carter and John Daniels started their first Burger King franchise in 1982. She took out a loan, just like you mentioned, Joe. Mm-hmm. And then after some time, she opened up, I think it said just 38 stores, which 12 are in Milwaukee, 26 are in Detroit, right? That's insane to be running that many Burger Kings. So,
it's like I said, it's I've seen some people do this before where like, because a lot of these companies, they're franchisee owned. So if you put up some money, you make some money. It takes a little bit to make the money from it, but if you can make some money, if you open up a few more, next thing you know, you have like a good source of revenue just by these Pizza Huts and Burger Kings and McDonald's.
It's great. I thought this is something I really want to make sure I read. Her holding companies is the largest female-owned franchise organization in the U.S.
There we go.
As well as the largest minority-owned Pizza Hut franchisees in the U.S. With all restaurants combined, V&J, her holding company, is one of the largest restaurant franchise companies in the country.
It's a big deal, man.
That is amazing. Huge shout out to our Black excellence of the week, and one of the few women Black excellence that I bring up as well, and I need to start doing more of that as well.
And we brought up Nia DaCosta, the director. She's the first Black woman to ever have a #1 movie in America. So I like that shining the light on some of these people. So that's the thing, man. Like moving in these franchises, can like Subways and all these things. It's just a lot initial upfront cost. But if you can put it in a good location, obviously Burger King is not gonna, they're gonna send you everything you need. They're gonna give you the plan and the food and all that stuff. It's just a lot upfront. So I think it's a good way to like start up if you're like a business owner. Me and my ex actually were talking about maybe doing that.
Hey man, last time I read, Chick-fil-A was only $7,000.
No,
last time I read
$7. That's it. We'll do
last time I read.
I can't do that. Sorry, Terrance, but you can. It's pretty legit, man. But so guys, I want to talk about something quickly. Some comments that Daniel Craig is obviously James Bond.
Oh yeah.
So the last movie's coming out in a couple weeks. No time to. His last one, I should say. Obviously, it's gonna keep going. And they asked him, "Do you think James Bond, the next James Bond, should be a woman?" And he brought up some comments that I want to talk about because he's echoing what I've said, right? So he says, and quote, "The answer to that is very simple. There should simply be." He said, "No. The answer is no. There should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. Why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman?" And then the producer of this whole franchise, I can't remember her name, is something Broccoli. I don't know if it's Broccoli. It looks like Broccoli. I've always wondered if that's how you pronounce her name. Barbara Broccoli. She said, quote, "He's a male character. He's written as a male, and I think will probably stay as a male. That's fine. We don't have to turn male characters into women. Let's just create more female characters and make the story fit those female characters." So I brought this up on the show a few weeks ago where like the Ghostbusters movie, they made one that was all women. And they made Ocean's 8.
Did you watch it?
No. I heard it wasn't very good. And they made Ocean's 8, and it's like, why? I have a few problems. One,
that was okay.
You're putting these women in a movie that are in the shadow of an already successful male-based movie. So why would they want that? Number one. And number two, why not make an awesome heist movie instead of Ocean's 8? Make an awesome heist movie with women based off something else, then it stands on its own 2 feet.
They're really, and I don't want to say they're trying to, but they're kind of folding under the pressure of society, saying
it's a half measure, right?
Give us this, give us that. It's like,
so I think
I don't need to give you shit.
See, that's the thing. I think you're right though. I think it's these companies folding, but it's a half measure, right? They're going, okay, people want more women in movies, fine. Let's attach it to an already established.
No, it's kind of like, take this and be quiet.
It's exactly what it is, right? It's not it's a half measure, because I like, for instance, like James Bond. James Bond is a great character. And the reason these movies have been going on now, next year, it'll be 60 years they'll be making James Bond films. Okay. Now, the reason that's been happening, and while there have been some better films than others, the reason this happens is because the people take good care of this film. The producers, they get good writers, they get good directors, they get good casts, they take care of these films. If someone else were to do that with a woman and make a new character that is a spy or that's a whatever you want it to be, you could produce the same results. You could make an awesome character.
No offense in any way, but I wouldn't want to watch it with a woman.
Well, that's why. That is, yeah.
And it's nothing against it being a woman, but it's just a simple fact of you took away something that I was so connected to, and you're just trying to change it. Yeah, like
I thought you were talking about the original idea.
No.
I agree with the.
Yeah, I'm talking about James Bond.
But I agree. There's no. I understand. Like James Bond is a character. He was written as a man, and like I don't really have a problem if if the actor's not white, doesn't need to be a white guy. But I think I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, it's whatever. But he's written as a guy, and I think he should remain a guy. I think I would love James Bond to have his own movies, and I would love if someone made some female one and a good one. Don't just. It's always just yeah.
I got one for you. You know what he really dropped the ball on? Tomb Raider.
So here's that's a
Tomb Raider.
You know, Terrance, that's an excellent example. So the most recent one, did you watch it? They made a couple years ago.
No, I didn't even know they made a new one. I feel like if they did, they didn't push it that hard, bro. So I swear to you.
It came out in early 2018. I didn't see. I saw it on a plane. Here's the thing. So Alicia,
outside of Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, they made it like 3 years ago. Yeah, obviously Angelina.
Bro, I swear. No, I got to look that up.
So here's the thing. It's Alicia Vikander is her name. Very talented actress. She won an Oscar. She's gorgeous. They also have Walton Goggins, who's an actor I really like. He's the villain. The movie is just a generic shat out movie that companies keep doing. The studios, there's no imagination. There's no creativity. There's just like, I don't know, make a movie that is an action movie and make it about Lara Croft. But there's there's nothing in it.
Don't tell me that.
But Terrance, this
don't
what happened.
Tell me that. I'm telling you, because the one with Anna Jolie is fire.
No, it wasn't though. It really wasn't.
The one with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, those weren't very good. But listen, my point is the reason.
But they had it though. They had one. They had a female. They had a lead. It was action. It was ready to go. Boom.
But here's the thing. The reason the James Bond can come out and make hundreds of millions of dollars and be successful and spawn this thing, and the reason Tomb Raider you didn't even know existed and it didn't even do that well is because of the same reason. One franchise has people who are like, we're going to make this great. They have good writers. They have the good people behind it. The other one, the company goes, I don't know, just get someone to make this movie. And that's what happened. A lot of these films, even that Angelina Jolie film Salt, like 10 years ago. And this, all of these movies they're just generic films that it doesn't even matter that it's really about a woman. Like you're not really making them good characters. And so they're just weak movies and people forget about them. If you had
There's another one. There's another one.
A lot of these, man.
What is it? No,
Protégé just came out with Maggie Q.
Lead woman. The one with the vampires and werewolves back in the day. Came out. What? Say it again?
Twilight?
No. Fuck that. It was an action joint where she oh man. She was a vampire.
Like a slayer, like Buffy?
Nah. She was a vampire, and then there was a dude who was then like a half vampire, half werewolf. Yo, it was a franchise. It was like 3 of them.
What? This doesn't sound like a real thing.
Man, keep talking. Let me look it up.
Hit a Google search on this.
Yeah,
hit a Google search on this. But my problem is, Terrance, and I 100% agree. Like, we need to stop going, how do we get more women or people of color into these roles that have existed in these franchises? Make awesome new franchises. This is how you do it. Have something stand on its own 2 feet. If some movie came out and it was this brilliant spy genre movie with a female lead, people wouldn't care there was a female or this or that. They'd be like, it's an awesome movie. We want more of them. The reason the MCU, all of these movies are successful, regardless of who's the lead and who's not, is because they care about their films. It's as simple as that. People just don't care. They just shit these movies out.
Underworld,
right? I can't even.
Underworld.
I can't even.
Underworld had Underworld had the female lead.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Female lead.
They made a few.
And it was done well.
Right, and that they ended up making like four or five of those films.
They made a lot of those. But it was done very well. But see, that was a character that someone wrote for a woman,
and people liked those films. I think they started to kind of lose it towards the end. But what I'm saying is like this is what I mean. Like though people liked that character, people liked that series, and while it maybe didn't keep going as good as it started, like,
but it was dope. But again,
that's what
it was,
I mean.
But like you said though, it was written for women instead of them just trying to put placeholders out here, right?
Like
we got to stop doing this. Let's just stop. And here's the thing, like I got to bring this up too, because you briefly mentioned it. We got to stop just trying to input black person,
right?
Input black person here.
These are half measures, Terrance. These are half measures.
We can't do that. Like we gotta stop doing that. And as much as I want to see black superheroes and stuff like that and all of that or whatever, make new black superheroes. There's a ton of superheroes that are black. They got the whole Black Lightning on one of the sitcoms or whatever.
Yeah,
I heard it's not that good, but it's out.
It's all right. I think
it's out. It's him. It's that character.
Do you know that movie they made like 10 years ago? It's called Salt. The Angelina Jolie.
I didn't like that.
So I didn't see it, but that movie was originally written for a man. I think Tom Cruise offered it, and then eventually Angelina Jolie signed on, so they changed it. But that's what I mean. Like, of course, it wasn't that good of a movie because it wasn't written. You need to write these characters good quality characters, not like anyone in Hollywood can do it.
So are we still not giving women the opportunities that they should be given?
I don't know.
That's what's happening, right?
Yeah, it's like you brought it's a half measure. It's going, well, people want more women in movies, so we'll do that, but they're not going, let's craft a really good film. They're going, I don't know, Tomb Raider, sure, just put it's called Tomb Raider, they'll sell. And it's like, well, and you get mediocre movies. Like if me and you sat down and wanted to write like an awesome spy film, we put like a year into writing it, and we got like produce, we could probably make an awesome one. Anyone can, but like people can. There are good writers in Hollywood. You have to give them the time, the attention it deserves. So that's why I think I don't want to see a female James Bond. I want an awesome new character that's played by a female.
Yeah, look, I'm down for supporting women in these new roles and doing great things or whatever. I want to see more women in the forefront. I want to see this. But here's I'm just gonna be straight up.
Look at Fast and Furious.
Straight up. Most of the time when they do it, they don't do it right. So it's like, as a man, I don't want to see it. Like we talked about the WNBA a couple of months ago on our other show, which is called the Backcourt.
It's on hiatus currently, but
yeah. Season 2 coming soon. Which reminds me, basketball season is coming back.
We'll talk about that next week. Actually, I got stuff for that.
Definitely, basketball season is coming back. But I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all don't make me want to see women leads in movies.
It's because they always make bad movies. The people behind them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's about caring for the movie. If you're gonna write it, if you're gonna get the good, like, do you think
movies, shows?
Terrance, if you get all the people who wrote the new Bond film, right? If you took the people who made No Time to Die, the new Bond film, the same writers, directors, producers, and let's say they didn't make that, but they went, hey, we're gonna make an awesome spy movie featuring a woman. You think they couldn't do that? You think they couldn't make all those talented people and all that budget? Of course they could. Of course they could. But anytime like they do this,
music, I'm gonna just keep listing shit because y'all just keep doing the same shit in every industry.
It's a problem. It's a big problem. Hopefully they can figure that out.
Yeah.
So let's go on to our first major topic. All right. Terrance, why can't we as a society enjoy anything anymore? let me hit you with why.
Good question.
Let me hit you with why I'm thinking about this. We talked about this briefly off air, but I'm gonna bring it back up to the show. So the movie Wonder Woman 1984, right? Speaking of women, there you go. There's actually a decent. Well, the first one was better, but anyway, you saw this film, by the way, 1984.
Yeah, didn't like it.
That was all right. Anyway, so in order to get Chris Pine back into the film, they came up with some plot that I couldn't even remember. I don't know if you remember, where like he comes back, but he takes over the body of someone else. Yeah, do you remember what? I don't know the reason. I don't know if I cared.
Yeah, he died in the first one, and then they found the spell that would revive people from the dead.
But it put him in someone else's body.
Yeah, they have to take over someone else's body in order to come back to life.
Yeah, so I guess some spoiler alerts here, but basically what happens is, in order to get the real life person Chris Pine, they want him back in the movie because the first one was successful. They have this plot line where he basically takes over someone else's body, and then I think I think only she can see him as Chris Pine, but I don't really remember. Anyway, the point is throughout the whole movie, he's basically like this. And there's action sequences where he's fighting and shooting and all this crazy stuff's happening. And at one point they have sex because they didn't have sex in the first movie, but they have sex in this movie. And there were some reviewers, some actually like professional reviewers, a few people who were like, it's terrible that like he took over this person's body and he was putting that body in harm's way with all these fights, and they had sex, which is basically equivalent to rape. It's like, oh, it's like, come on, man. Like, this is what I mean. Like, we just can't enjoy anything anymore. Like, it's a goofy movie.
Well, we're not.
It's some shitty plot line where in order to get him back, Kristen Wiig becomes a half tiger, half human in this film, and fucking
Chitara or
whatever. But she becomes like a tiger, and then Pedro Pascal, I don't even know what his superpower is. Like, it's a fucking goofy fantasy fiction film about like superheroes and crazy shit. Why can't we just watch the movie and enjoy it? Why do people gotta say, oh, it's rape? It's like, come on, man. That's what I mean. Like, people overanalyze everything instead of just being like, yeah, it's just like a dumb movie. Like, this is like, that's not really what happened.
I don't think it's about overanalyzing. I think it's not being able to accept things as they are. You know, I mean, sometimes it's hard to turn. It's hard to turn that part of your brain off, and not for me. I don't really give a fuck. Yeah, but I accept things as they is.
I feel like if this movie were made in the 90s, the same things, people wouldn't have questioned it then, because people wouldn't have been thinking about it.
But in the 90s, we had the ability to just, you know, because and even though we were born in the late 90s, we grew up in that era.
No, we weren't. We were not born in the late 90s. You were born.
Oh, I'm sorry, late 80s. Sorry,
early 90s.
Wow, tripping.
Tired dance.
But we grew up in that, you know. So when we went to enjoy things in life, we enjoyed it for what it was. But the main thing about it was you had to make your own decision. You didn't have the ability to get online and see 1,000 other decisions, so that now your mindset changes. Your opinion now goes along with everybody else's.
Yeah,
we didn't have that, you know. If you saw something, if you saw, let's say,
you saw and loved it, you loved it. That was it.
Yeah, if you did some shit over the weekend or whatever, or you saw some shit over the weekend or whatever, you didn't have the ability to share it with your people unless, you know, they was in your immediate circle.
That was the thing, man.
Over the week, you had to wait till you got to school, and by the time you got to school, you already made up in your mind.
Yep.
I like this, and I don't care what nobody else say.
That was the thing. Yeah, like you had an opinion and you formed it without thinking about it, like you're supposed to do. And then, yeah, like you told people, and if they didn't agree, you were like, oh, really? And maybe like if everyone disagreed, you might like, oh, yeah,
maybe. But it was a tough.
But if you saw a film and loved it, you loved it, right? But now it's like, wait, as soon as you see a film, people go online, they want to see, oh, what do Rotten Tomatoes give it? What do these people say? What are the social media? And then that like decides in your opinion.
There is no.
We talked about the internet a few shows ago about how like, is it better? Is it for more good or more bad? This is an example of bad.
This is an example of bad. And the thing about it is,
the fucking movie. It wasn't even a good movie. You don't have to talk about.
No one has their own train of thought anymore. I personally, I'm sick of watching, because I'm on Twitter often, so I'll see something and then I like to read the comments underneath it or whatever.
That's why I always look. That's one of those. See, that's one of the things that got me off of Twitter and everything, is because you see something nice or something cool, and then you go to comments and it's just like horrible.
I like to read the comments, because what I'm actually looking for is I'm looking for someone with a different opinion. I look through it and I see all the same thing. And then I see that one person that says something different, and I go, huh, okay. You took the other pill. You took the other pill here.
The red pill.
Yeah, you took the red pill here. So, and then I look to see what that person is talking about, because I like people that are not just following the wave. Create your own wave, man.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It is. People are really heavily swayed by the internet, and it makes sense, I guess. For whatever reason, I don't know why. If you have an opinion, you want to make sure like everyone agrees with your opinion, even though you should just be like,
it hurts them. It hurts them.
You should just listen. Your opinion's your opinion. Just accept it. You don't need to be like, well, everyone needs to agree, or I should agree with them. Like, just have your own opinion.
It hurts them. Back in the days, they used to say, keep your 2 cents to yourself, right? And what that means is that's just yours. It's just yours. That's all it is. It's like you're entitled. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. It doesn't mean that everyone has to agree with your opinion. those are things that people are no longer understanding. If someone doesn't agree with an opinion now, they flipping out.
Yeah,
They're
that's
tripping.
childish shit, man. That's just childish shit.
They're going crazy. For instance, and this will probably be something extra that we drop, or probably something that never hits the air. Me and Joe had a fucking hour debate about a difference of opinion.
Yeah. Before the show, just
before the show,
and you can't even tell because we're friends.
But it was what it was. At the end, it was like, all right, well, you think that way, I think this way. All right, cool. Let's go do the show. Yeah. But that's all it is.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not upset because he don't think the way I think.
But that's the thing, man. That's why like that mode of thinking of like people have to agree with my opinion or I need to agree with everyone else's. It's just childish. Like if you have an opinion, if you think Underworld is the greatest movie ever, you think that. There's nothing wrong with that. If people don't agree, well, they have their own opinion, just like you have yours. You know, that's like cool. Just I get like you want people. We all want people to share our opinions, but if they don't, then just move on. But that is my overall point with this is like I just feel like as a society we get movies that are like we would have killed for as kids, and we have to nitpick every little thing,
shows,
everything, right?
Like characters,
and like we nitpick
so much happening.
We nitpick everything as a whole. I don't say me and you, but as a whole, like as people, we nitpick every little thing.
At
and
12
we get mad
years
at every
old,
little thing.
I would have went crazy to see the Avengers movie,
dude.
In real life, you know dude, what I mean? Like I would have bugged out.
Do you know how like it was a WB or whatever has like the show Arrow and like DC Legends of Tomorrow and all? Dude, I don't even like DC, but I would have watched the shit out of all. There's so many of those shows. I would have loved those shows as a kid watching superheroes. There's the thing for these young kids listening, all the new listeners. I'm 30, Terrance 31. When we were growing up, we love superhero shit. It didn't exist outside of like cartoon. We'd love to see that shit
outside of cartoon and reading it in a comic book.
Yeah, like
you couldn't. There was and playing it, with the toys or whatever.
It, bro.
You couldn't really get it nowhere else.
No. And that's the thing. And like, but people nitpick everything. It's like why is that? Why do we do that? Is it just because? Is it a mixture of like?
Now you know what they nitpicking, Joe? You know what they nitpicking when they get the superhero movie? It's not like the comic.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, it's not like
you did that about Black Widow. You were like Taskmaster, isn't? And it's like
is that fair. You know? And but that's more so like us that are purists. You know.
You know what I'll say, man. I think one thing that's been shifted over the last like probably 20 years, especially like movie and TV and all that, is a realism. You know, like people crave realism. Like that's why I think. Remember, like. When James Bond
it don't have to be though.
But you know what it is? But like remember Casino Royale and like Batman Begins and these like and The Bourne Identity. These were like
I love Casino.
Casino's a great movie, and so is Casino Royale.
God, Casino.
But those movies, people were like, oh, they're gritty, right? They're real. Like the Bourne Identity movies, those like, they were very realistic movies, and people started. That was like the trend where people started to really. We didn't want to watch Batman Forever. We wanted to watch a movie like Batman Begins, where it's like a real. What could Batman be if he were real? Not just like this fictional character who has his magic, like that's where I think that is part of it. Like movies now, we want them to be as realistic. Even like the Marvel films are insane, but we want them to be as real as possible. And so I don't think if it's part of it, or if we just overthink things, or are we looking for controversy, like that rape thing? Like,
of course we are.
Are people like looking at that and like, oh my god, I didn't even think about that. And also like, it doesn't matter because it's just.
But
fiction.
You know what it is. You know what? Here's another thing. I'll give you another thing as well. We have to find a flaw in something. Nothing can ever be, and again, nothing can ever be what it is. We have to look for what's wrong here. You can't look at something. You can't look at something and just be like, oh man, this is great. This is amazing. This is interesting or whatever. You got to look at it and be like, something's wrong. Something's
why
not
is
right.
That though? Is that just a negative way that people are?
Because just like I said to the listeners earlier in the episode, people are fucking toxic and they just enjoy
insulting our
shit.
Listeners. They're not. Our listeners are not toxic, man. The other people are not.
They're just
listeners.
Enjoying toxic stuff. Like you just
next episode, no one's gonna listen to because they're gonna go. Well, I wanted to listen to this new show, but they started just berating me as soon as I got on the show. Fuck this guy.
I love you all. I love you all. But
someone else just downloaded the show while we were talking, and
it has to. it has to do with us. And I say this with music, right? We love to see pain. We enjoy pain. It is a sick.
Real pain?
No, not real pain, but we enjoy seeing. You know how they say misery loves company, right?
Right.
Or whatever. Like you like to see that. Like I say this with like I'll give you an example. Some of the best songs are songs that are sad.
Yeah.
Breakup.
I can understand that.
I lost something. I lost someone. I'm lonely. Whatever it is, right? For some reason, we gravitate towards that. Oh my gosh, what is this? It's so sad, right? And when it comes to enjoying something, for some reason, we enjoy the depression.
But you think like pointing out these flaws in movies, like that's what it is. Like you're pointing out like real human beings. Like, look at these stupid
right,
things they did.
Exactly. So when they're watching Wonder Woman, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's technically raping him or whatever." It's like, why would you bring that up, right? What would go through your mind?
I look at that and I'm
go
like,
through your mind to get to that.
But it's just like literally Kristen Wiig I think she becomes like a half tiger, half woman, right? Isn't it like she just somehow, I don't remember the plot of that, but is that what happens?
Some shit like she got powers or some shit.
We're not going to question that, but you're going to accept that as being real. But the fact that Chris Pine was able to become this character,
accept it as being real. It just didn't have a flaw in it, as far as
it wasn't wrong. It was just like
right.
It was in the movie. No one was hurt, right? Like she just becomes tired.
It wasn't something that you could spot a flaw in. It was like, it just happened.
This poor guy had sex with Gal Gadot. That's terrible. What a hard life. You know what, Terrance? I'll take that bullet for you. Mm-hmm. If that has to happen, I'll have sex with her if it means taking that bullet.
We have to find a flaw in everything.
It's really, terrible, man.
And people aren't genuinely happy for people nowadays as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know what? I just think I've talked about this before. I think most people in the world are dumb. I think like that's where a lot of this comes from. Like I'm happy for any of my friends or even people I like. I have exes who I don't talk to ever.
Absolutely.
I hope they're fine. I hope they're good. I hope things are great. Because why would I? Unless you've really wronged me in like a real way, like you're actually like actively try to make me like unhappy or something. I wish nothing but the best.
I wish nothing but the best to everyone. And then speaking,
the only person I don't is Raquel. Raquel, if you're listening, I hope you fucking have a miserable life because you made everyone else around you miserable. And you know who I'm talking about, Terrance. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Fuck her. Everyone else.
What are you talking about?
Raquel. She's a manager at Toys R Us.
Oh, Raquel. Yo, you
fuck her. Fuck her. She literally tried to get everyone fired. She went to the security. I don't know if you knew about this. She went to the security guard and watched us on the cameras for half hour and then took pictures and got us all in trouble. Like, who the focus on your job. Stop focusing on trying to like find us for in trouble. Fuck her. But I'll give you an example. Alberto. I haven't talked to Alberto in years. I hope he is as happy as he could possibly be right now. I know he's in Florida. I know he's got a family. As far as I've seen, things are good. I hope nothing would happen because you want to know what? He's a good guy. And because why wouldn't I?
Absolutely.
I think it's an immature thing. I think a lot of people like it's like anything, right? Like, you don't like other people
it cannot. We gotta stop doing that too. Because we always try to chalk things up to immaturity or young or things like that. We can't do that. We have to allow people to just be plain old wrong and stupid. Okay. I'm 2022. I'm calling you stupid. I'm calling you
I've been doing this for years, Terrance. They're just dumb.
All right. Because we gotta stop giving people.
Terrance,
he's 21.
Nah,
he's
bro.
20. He just don't know.
Terrance, I've been trying to say this. It's a hard thing to admit, but the dumb people outnumber us. Like there's more of them than there are like smart people. Like people listening to the show. There's not enough of them. Like the smart ones who are like, this is a good show. There's not enough of them, Terrance. There's too many idiots out there in the world. Like that's what I've learned. Like there's more dumb people than there are smart people.
Yeah, that's just we gotta. You know what was it? Last week we talked about processing, right?
Yeah, that was the French.
I'm processing idiots.
All right. That was I'm
processing idiots,
dude.
I'm starting a petition I'm starting a goddamn protest. And you know what? We're going to put this online and we need people to join us. All right. Because we're fighting stupidity. We cannot allow this to go into 2022. This is worse than a war on drugs. This is a war on stupidity.
Dude,
all right.
We should literally get a bunch of people and get signs and just literally protest. We would make news if we just started saying no more dumb people. Like we hate dumb people. We would make national news if we did that.
We got it.
Should we do that? We should look into this, Terrance. We should start
we got to look into this. We have to stop this. We have to stop this because there's literally this thing is it's killing us.
I agree.
It's killing us. Stupidity is literally killing us. Like and it's not. Let's get serious for a second, right? And say there are things happening in this world that are only happening because people are dumb. And there's not enough smart people around to just be like, hey, look, hey, stupid motherfucker, stop being stupid.
I agree.
Stop.
Terrance, we should literally think about actually getting like a real, like we'll go down to Union Square or something and have a protest. We would make national news. What are they protesting? Dumb people.
What are you protesting? I'm
dumb
protesting
people.
Idiots.
For all the people out there who are stupid, I don't like you. Get smarter. And for those of the smart people out there, you gotta tell them.
Here's the thing, because I know you stupid people so well. There's going to be the stupid people to say, oh, well, how do you know who's stupid? You motherfucker, because you just asked me.
If you have to ask,
clearly you're stupid.
This might be the first time Terrance has ever been more aggressive than me. I love it. I love this, man. This is great. Normally it's me getting mad.
It just doesn't make any sense. This is something that really gets on my nerves, though. Honestly speaking, this is something that gets on my nerves.
Do you remember Matt? Speaking of people like Toys R Us, remember Matt, our manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. I hope nothing but happiness for him. He told me once, he was like, the problem? He's like, you can't deal with stupidity. And that's defined my life. I'm like, no one's ever said something about me more true than that. I can't deal with stupidity. If I deal with people who are dumb, I get frustrated. I'm like, how are you not getting this most obvious of things?
That's Corey. Corey has no patience for stupidity.
Yeah, no, I have zero. Me and her. That's why me and her get along.
Zero patience for stupidity. It like literally, I see her face change. Like the person will be saying something, her whole face will change.
Dude, I've had girlfriends say that about me.
Like I gotta like. Because I'm like, she's about to react.
See, this is why people say she's good. This is why people say opposites attract. This is why I mean, like, I've had girlfriends do the same thing about me. Like, you need one person like you to be the more balanced, like one, the patient one. The other person is because they need to balance out like the me who's like more.
That's the thing. I don't like it. I have patience for it, but I hate it. I can't stand it.
I can't
like
deal
I'll
with it.
leave. I'll leave the conversation and be like, that motherfucker was dumb. That is such a stupid. Like that is such a stupid person.
We could talk all day about dumb people we've met. Yeah, it is unfortunate though that as a society, there's too many dumb people, and we're getting lost in like the minutia of like over examining everything or looking for flaws and all this crap. It's bad, right? It's really bad.
We can't have no more of that. We can't have no more of that.
Yeah, so let's segue into another topic, actually somewhat related to that. You know how like people obviously will like lie about stuff on Facebook, or social media. They'll be like, "Oh my God, this crazy thing," just for attention.
Oh, of course.
And obviously people put like good things that happened to them. They got married, they went to the moon, they went to the moon, whatever it is, I don't know. But people post, what I've never understood, Terrance, why do people post either like supremely negative stuff about themselves online, like stories that will make people feel bad for them, or do they also make up stuff? Like, why do you want people to feel bad?
Well, you got to exaggerate the truth a little bit, right?
Like, but why?
Because you got to get some attention.
But Terrance, why would... is that what you want? Do you want people feeling bad for you? Is that what you want? Like, do you want people to go, like, you post enough where people go, oh, that's Terrance, the guy who has a shitty life?
No, you just want the attention.
But the attention you get but I'm saying that the attention you get is the negative attention. Like, do you want people always thinking like your life sucks? Is that what you want?
No, you just want people to pay attention.
But what I'm saying, Terrance, if you keep on posting stuff about how bad your life is, there's bad things, that's what they're going to think about you.
No, they're just going to keep you.
They're not going to think about
I don't think people think about.
No, they absolutely do. If you're always posting bad stuff, people are like, you think they're not going to notice that? They're going to be like,
no, I'm saying the person posting it. I don't think that they think about the fact of, oh, this is how people think of me. I think they're just looking at the paint, the attention.
It's just weird. It's just weird, I guess, because like for me, like I don't want to post the bad things that happen in my life. I mean, I'll post anything, obviously, but I wouldn't want to be like, I just I just lost $100. I just lost $500 in a bet. Like, why would I want to talk about how stupid I am? Or like anything like that. I'm like, oh man, I just, got robbed. Oh man, I just went on a job interview and didn't get the job. Like, why do you want to post that? I don't want people to think these negative things about me. I don't know. I just don't. If the people who do that, I just think, man, that person's life sucks. Like, is that really what you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
All I'm saying,
and that's another thing too. People aren't genuine when you post something that happened to you negatively in your life, and somebody is like, "Oh my God, I hope everything's okay," or whatever, blah blah blah. I'll tell you this about me. I don't do the phone thing. If it's your birthday, I'm texting you. I don't.
Yeah, if I know you well enough, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna like.
I hate the Facebook reminder happy birthday thing, right?
You know what it is?
It took away the authenticity of saying happy birthday to someone because you know it's their birthday.
Best thing, I agree, but I think like I don't obviously again in Facebook, but I only used to do for people who like you kind of like are more acquaintances with or you've drifted, you kind of throw that in there. But like for you, I'm gonna text you, right? Like for people I'm close to, I'll text. But if it's like someone I kind of knew, like Alberto. Like if I was on Facebook still, I would maybe say Alberto, but I don't really talk to Alberto anymore, so I wouldn't feel comfortable texting him really,
I still shoot a text.
Aren't you just the coolest guy in the room?
I mean,
is there anything you maybe currently do or you have done in the past you can think of you've done strictly to avoid awkwardness? Like I had a friend who was saying that like he went to the doctor's and he like was outside and he looked in and he saw like a guy he kind of knows. And he was like, I don't want to fucking, because you're going to go in there, you have to talk to him. And he's like, it's a waiting room. He's like, I'm just not in the mood. It's going to be like an awkward, like small talk thing. So he just waited outside. And then he waited until like his appointment was like 2 minutes in. Then he walked in and then he was like, oh, hey. And then like, like he just tried to, and then like the guy happened to go in right after. But like, is there stuff?
You know what's always been the craziest thing? Not wanting to be in the same train car.
As like someone
as somebody,
dude. Because then it's like, oh, hey.
I've literally missed a train because it was like, oh fuck, you about to get on the same car. It was no way we're not gonna see each other. Fuck it, I'm gonna just let this one go by.
Dude, do you remember? Do you remember in our zone how we had like a Connect girl, like when Connect first came out?
A what?
We called it the Connect girl. Like Microsoft would send someone for the Connect, and the Connect first came out like to help demonstrate for people.
Oh yeah, I think so.
So one of them ended up marrying another person. Actually, they've been together ever since.
I got the first Connect in New York City, I think.
No, you didn't. We sold the first Connect to that guy, but.
Oh fuck! I thought I was the first one.
Wow, no, you worked it. You were working that event. In your head, you've changed it to I did it. Even though you sold it, you like I got the first.
All right, so I sold the first ever.
Yeah, because that guy waited online, and I think whoever was in charge of Microsoft.
Yeah, somebody took a picture.
I think it was Spencer. I don't know who it was. Yeah. Yeah. I remember me and you worked that event. Anyway, it was you. Yeah, you have something to do with it. I bought it. I love that you've changed it in the narrative in your head.
That's funny, right? It's crazy how we change things.
Terrance
real moments that happen in my head. I changed that whole situation.
Worked at Toys R Us, and Toys R Us was the global launch of the Connect. So he was the person who handed the Connect to this gentleman who waited like 3 days online.
How I remember
Terrance's head, he bought the first ever Connect.
Was I got the first ever Connect ever. That's the story I'm gonna tell my kids.
For those of you right now, if you Google like Toys R Us Connect launch first, you can find a picture of like whoever, like Phil Spencer was in charge of it, shaking the guy's hand. You might see Terrance in the background wearing a blue Toys R Us shirt, but Terrance did not purchase this. So the Connect girls, there was originally one girl that was in the Connect thing during the holiday season. They had someone working there. There was a second one who worked there for a while, and she was a nice lady. She was there for like a few months. I didn't kind of know her. We were there every day. And then like a couple years later, I saw her on the train. Like she was like 2 feet in front of me. I was like, oh, fuck. I don't even remember what her name was, And I was like, so I kind of just kept looking down and like, I was like, maybe she won't see me. And towards right after like a few minutes, she was like, tap me. She was like, Giuseppe. And I was like, hey, you, And she was like, how you been? I was good. And she's like, oh, this is my stop. I'll talk to you later. I was like, yeah, definitely. Bye. Like, thank God. You know what? She might have actually not been getting off there. She just got off to get out of the conversation.
She just got off.
But I mean, I don't know. She's the one who said something to me. I didn't say anything to her.
Yeah. She wouldn't get off if
she
didn't need to get off. Yeah.
Yeah,
you might as well just not say nothing all the time.
You know, it's awkward.
I've kept my head down a lot. Get on my phone. Close.
You know, it's awkward. Like if sleep. I remember one time, like I was on, you know, like the train seats, like you're in the very corner, like where the bar is right next to you. Yeah. I was in one of that, and then the door's like right next to me, and there was this girl I used to work with who was in like the other corner diagonal from me, so not really that close, but she saw me. It was kind of empty train, and I was like, oh hey, but then like we just had a talk, like in that awkward like diagonal, like she's not really in front of me, like for like 10 minutes. It was like really awkward, but there's nothing to do. She saw me and like we had a talk, but it was like, hey, and it was like, yeah, so so and so at work was doing this. And you're like, yeah, it's crazy, you know, but like, oh, man. And you want to like get up to make it more like less awkward, but like, do you go sit next to them? Like, it's kind of weird too, you know, like
you got that angle.
That's what I'm saying. I was at like a weird angle, but you can't just end the like. What do you think if, let's say that happened to me this like tomorrow, and what if I was like, you know what, I don't actually know you that well, so instead of being an awkward conversation for 10 minutes, let's just not talk. You think they would just go with it, or they'd be like, oh, okay, like if I was just straight up honest?
I think that's honest, but I think people would find that offensive, and it's crazy, right? Because it's like, why would that be offensive if I'm just being honest?
If someone said that to me, if this girl I saw was like, you know, we didn't really know each other that well, like we don't have to talk, it'd be kind of awkward, right? I'd be like, yeah, it would be. And then I would just go back to my book.
I would actually appreciate that.
I would too.
I would appreciate that.
I think most people wouldn't, but I think I definitely would. Let's just be honest about the situation. Like we don't really know. We barely knew each other then. It's been like years. We don't need to, you know.
I didn't talk to you. I don't follow you on any type of social media. You know, I just know your face. You know what? Also, another thing is
that happens, man.
We have to realize that just because you work with someone doesn't mean you're cool.
When you go
to when you go to another job, I've done this plenty of times. When we work together, I talk to you every day. We'll text, we'll hang out, all of that. Right. But sometimes it may not carry over to when I leave this bitch.
Yeah, and you know, it's also like sometimes friendships just kind of fade. You know, it's not doesn't mean someone's fault, but sometimes they just kind of fade. And then if you see them a few years later, like it's just like, well, I don't really know what's going on with you. I don't really know you. Like it's just kind of awkward.
Yeah, we didn't really build that bond. We had a work bond.
Yeah,
and it's okay. It's okay to have a work bond.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's unfortunate that like I wonder if some people like don't feel that way. Like they just think, oh no, it's totally fine. Let's just talk. Because I think some people are fine with like awkward small talk. Like some people like me and you are like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Nah, I try to avoid it, honestly. If I know that like this might be a weird conversation.
Yeah, like you don't know them. It's just like
I ain't down for it. And then sometimes I just get on the train. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to chill.
That's true too. It doesn't independent situation you're in
now. Like I don't want to fucking deal with nobody. Quiet drive.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I don't know. I definitely will avoid conversations if I can, just because I feel like there's no point of like pretending we're friends with somebody. Also, that's the thing. Like, yeah, like sometimes you just don't even really know somebody, or it's just like, what is it? Why do we need to talk? Like, we knew each other and we don't.
Dog. Like, we don't have to talk.
You know what? You remember Karan's art gallery a couple years ago, like 2 years ago at this point, actually?
Oh, yeah, that was fire. Shout out to K.
It was. Shout out to K. Follow him, Prince Hopbot on Instagram. He's an amazing artist. He's fucking phenomenal. But that was the thing. When we went to his thing, like a lot of people from Toys R Us was there. I had that kind of where I was like, some of you I'm totally cool with. Other people, I barely knew you then. Definitely don't know you now. Like we know each other's face. Yes, we work together, but we don't need to. And you know what? I remember not talking to a bunch of people that night because I didn't know them. I felt like they thought I was giving them bad vibes. I was just like, I don't know you. I didn't know you then. I don't know you now. Like Priscilla was there. Me and Priscilla were cool. I still talk to her here and there. Me and her talked that night. I saw like Gideon and you and Karan, obviously. That's fine. And what's her name was there? Not Clover. What's her real name? Courtney.
Clover. Oh, Clover.
She goes
by Instagram.
No, it's because I've seen her name. I've seen her name so many times on Facebook. That's what it says. That in my head, it's almost like I've seen.
That's
her.
Crazy. That's crazy. We recognize people by their social media name.
But you want to know?
Oh, that's Clover.
It's because I haven't seen her in a consistent basis since 2012. I've seen her name on Facebook a lot of times since then. It's just like it's like censored. But like she doesn't have her first name. Her first name is like,
how's she doing? She was
I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you. And I'm gonna edit her name out since I don't know her well enough. But her name is
she was
not
like loose back then though.
You just saying that because I'm gonna edit her name out. I love that I say I'm editing her name out. You're like, well, now I'm gonna say whatever I want about her.
Now that you go.
That's fucked up, Terry. But yeah, no, you were right. She was definitely that. Bro, she still is. Trust me, she still absolutely is that
that's
way.
Crazy. That's
but her name on Facebook is like a different first name. And so sometimes I'm like, that's not her name. What's her real name? Like, it's just annoying. You see that so many times. But
yeah.
But anyway, that night there was some people like I didn't talk to. So I'm like, I barely knew you back then, or if I knew you at all. And but like I didn't say anything. I felt like they looked at me like, I can't believe he didn't say anything to me. Maybe I made that up. But
after the event,
a bunch of us went out, but
yeah,
I knew those people.
Out, and it was you hang out with who you would hang out with.
Yeah, I'm like pretty sure everyone. I think there was like one person who was there that I didn't know. Everyone else, I was like, yeah, it was like Courtney and me, and I think there's one guy. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but
I think that was Courtney Peoples.
Yeah, I think he was kind of weird if I recall. Like I was like, he's being a little. I think he was being a little like aggressive. Like, and I was like, this guy need to chill out a little bit. But that was a good night though, man. I think it was the last time we saw each other, wasn't it? Because COVID happened 6 months later, and I don't think we saw each other in that time.
It might have been.
Which is sad as best friends.
Well, you ain't come out the house, man.
Well, now, I mean, I guess Terrance, I would absolutely now come out. I was thinking though, definitely basketball season comes about in about a month. Oh no,
for sure. That's
whether it's Barclays or whether just to go to a bar and chill or go to your house. We're definitely we got to get this. We got to get this going because we haven't seen each other in forever.
That's for sure.
But all right, Terrance, I think it's about coming to the end of our show. We of course end every show with a hypothetical.
What you got?
All right, Terrance. If you had to choose, no matter what, you choose either you're going to know when you're going to die or you're going to know how you're going to die. What would you choose?
When,
really? So I tell you, okay, you're going to die, January 14th, 2024. You like,
I'd rather know when. Because you know why?
Yeah.
If you know how,
that might fuck you up.
Too much anxiety.
Also, if I said, Terrance, you die, if I say you die eating a chicken bone,
right?
You're gonna avoid chicken for the rest of your life.
I could avoid chicken now.
But then some Final Destination shit would happen, like an explosion. You would have like a chicken bone, like
right. It could be so many different scenarios.
Yeah, because you're like a chicken bone kills me, then next thing you slip on one and break your neck. You're like, well,
if you tell me, January 14th, and it's like I'm at midnight, it might be over.
You could say your goodbyes and make sure your family's in order.
It could be 4:00 in the afternoon. It could be over, whatever. But I know
it's a tense day, Terrance.
I know it's that day. You know what I would do that day?
What would
drug myself to sleep. I'd just take a bunch of melatonin.
Really? That's the way you don't want to do something cool, like.
Nah, I would have already done all of that.
But by that logic, though, Terrance, that would be what kills you. You take too much of it, and it kills you because, like, if you just pass out, all of a sudden maybe like a meteor crashes into your room and caves in your head.
Yeah. I would have already done the things that I felt like I wanted to do.
Yeah, because
I would just want to chill. Like, let me watch my favorite movies.
You wouldn't want to be with your girl and like your son.
No, of course, like, hey,
but you don't want them. You don't want them to see you.
I want it.
I
just want to vibe. Yeah, I just want to vibe. Give me a couple times to vibe or whatever.
Terrance, that's an interesting thing though. If you knew the day, you want to like be with people close to you, but you don't want to be with your son, and then you trip down the stairs in front of him. So you like, I gotta make sure I don't want to be near these people I love, and they watch me, choke on a fucking an omelet or something.
Let me leave me in a room for the next 24 hours.
I think I agree that it would best be know what day, because like I said, if I said, okay, you die from a car, like, well, what the am I in a car accident? Did some car hit me? Are you nervous around cars for the next, it could be 60 years for all you know. You die choking to death. Well, then what do? You gotta be careful every time you eat for 60 years. That's the thing. If it said, "Oh, you die, January 14th, 2089," you're like, "Oh, fucking okay."
I got mad time.
Yeah, you're like, "Fuck, shit, I got 70 plus years." Like,
you know how loose
99 years old.
You know what's crazy is I feel like you would live life differently if you knew when your expiration date was.
But I guess it also depends on like if I say you're gonna die in 2089, that doesn't mean you can just jump off a bridge and hopefully like it would be if you don't change anything about your life.
What I'm saying is I feel like people, if people knew when they're at this sounds like a Black Mirror episode. If people knew when they would die, I feel like
that is it's gotta be a Black Mirror episode. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like the choices they make would be different. I feel like the things that they prioritize may be different. I just think people would go about life a different way because they'd be like, you know what? I got 2 weeks in this bitch. I don't give a fuck about this job.
Terrance, if right now you said
it could be different.
If you say I die in 2030, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm out of school. Fuck that. I'm not gonna waste the next couple of years in school. I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna do for the next 9 years.
I'm gonna do. And you know what's crazy? You'd probably be like, you know what? I'm gonna make this movie that I always wanted to make.
Yeah, I would be like, I gotta figure this out.
You would have said, you know what? I'm not gonna go without doing this.
I would need to spend a couple years trying to get the funds, and if I couldn't, I would need to figure out a bank loan and go, well, I'll be dead.
You would figure it out.
Go to my family, but
the debt. I mean, the debt would pass on. Banks ain't having that. Banks ain't having that. Well, you have no. Well, your next of kin.
Yes, I'm saying who gets the debt of a single guy living on his own? My roommates. My roommate gets stuck with the debt somehow. I don't know what would happen. That's an interesting question.
That's a great question.
We'll look that up, not on air, but
Joe, you might have to take out some loans, bro. Some shit started. You ain't got nobody to go pass it to. I mean, what's the worst gonna happen? What they gonna do to you?
I do agree, though. I think we both agree that it's definitely you want to know when. I mean, as much as I don't want to know that, because I'd rather not know when I'm gonna die. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I think when no, because yes, how there's too many variables. I don't want to know if I die eating like one of my favorite foods, and then it's like, well, great, Or what if I think is I avoid that food, and then I'm eating, someone else is eating a bagel, and he chokes and while he's driving and then runs me over. It's like, well, the bagel caused the accident. It's like, well, great. Anyway, Terrance, for all those new listeners, if you made it through the whole show, thank you. We always end that show that way. If you want to reach out, though, we would love to hear from you. You can email us, needisaymorepod, P-O-D, pod, @gmail.com, or follow us Instagram, Twitter, needisaymorepod, @needisaymorepod. That's it for me, Terrance. You got anything?
No, man. This night went longer than expected, for sure.
4 in the morning for those listening.
That's probably right. I got nothing else, and if I left today, I just want to say thank you, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Need I say more?